What is going on, everybody? Drew YGO, back with another deck profile. One of you asked me to drop the deck list for the Toon deck I did a little video on. It was just a funny little video because I do feel as though Toons are incredibly slept on. They're so powerful when they pop off, and when they do, they really pop off, ladies and gentlemen. They're iconic, you know. They were used by the first real villain of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime, and I feel like they're just not getting the love that I feel like they deserve. So this is my deck list. I'll go ahead and get into it. We're running one copy of Toon Ancient Gear Golem. Standard Toon effect: cannot attack the turn it is summoned. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack your opponent directly. Now, unless you're in a mirror match, or somehow your opponent ganks a monster, you'll be able to swing directly for huge damage with your Toons. This card, I feel like, is one of the weaker Toons, because it doesn't offer you that much in terms of recycling, in terms of special summoning from the deck, searching the deck. However, now, counter argument, it's funny looking. Not really, it just has high attack, and I needed another Toon monster to really round out the deck. It's just the one with the highest, and its effect is not entirely useless. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage, but if this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. Piercing damage on a Toon monster is kind of redundant, but it's that second effect of them not being able to add a spell or trap, or activate a spell or trap, that does make this card a lot better than any of the other ones I could have added. But enough about him. Let's move on to the two copies of Toon Blackluster Soldier. I would like to run 3 of these in a perfect world, but I'm not, because I feel as though it kind of clogs it up if you kind of open up with a lot of them in your hand. I'll go ahead and read his effect, though. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand by tributing Toon monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 8 or more. It can tribute itself. It can tribute your Toon Dark Magician and another monster. It can tribute 2 of your level 4s. But mostly you're going to be special summoning this off of the effect of your Dark Magician or your Toon Page Flip. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack directly, but once per turn, if you control Toon World, you can target one card on the field and banish it. Not destroy, but banish. Important distinction, because a lot of big boss monsters are immune to destruction, but they're not immune to targeting or being banished. So this card is really oppressive against the right deck, especially because it can't be destroyed by battle as long as you have Toon Kingdom out on the field. So all around, this is your Toon boss monster. Bar none, this is your boss monster. Next, we have 3 copies of Toon Dark Magician. Cannot attack the turn it is summoned, along with all of the other Toon monsters. I'll go ahead and skip to its actual effect. Once per turn, you can discard 1 Toon card, and then activate one of these effects. Special summon a Toon monster from your deck, except for Toon Dark Magician, ignoring its summoning conditions, i.e. your Blackluster Soldier or your Red Eyes Toon Dragon. Or you can add 1 Toon spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. There are a lot of really great targets for this. Toon Briefcase, Toon Terror, even another copy of Toon Kingdom, I believe. Really great card to special summon off of your Toon Dragon if you have it in the hand. Speaking of Toon Dragon, we are running 2 copies of it. Allow me to turn my music down a little bit because it is getting a little bit loud. We have 2 copies of Red Eyes Toon Dragon. I'm sorry. Cannot attack the turn it is summoned while you control Toon World, yada yada yada. Once per turn, you can special summon a Toon monster from your hand, except for another copy of himself. Very easy to go into because we are running the 3 copies of Blackstone of Legend, but we'll get into that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. All around, very great card to target with your Toon Page Flip. Mostly with your Toon Page Flip, you will reveal your Red Eyes, your Dark Magician, or your Blackluster Soldier. Next, we're running one copy of Toon Cyber Dragon, again for the same reason. I know it's not the greatest Toon monster, but, you know, it's kind of like, it's in the same boat of Ancient Gear Golem in that you can special summon it pretty easily if your opponent controls a monster. It can attack directly, and 2100 is not anything to scoff at. But this was really just to fill out the rest of the deck. You can replace this with whatever you want. You can put in Barrel Dragon, but I feel like Barrel Dragon and Cannon Soldier were just kind of inconsistent and gimmicky. So I put in Toon Cyber Dragon because it was the next best thing. Next, we're running 3 copies of Toon Mermaid. It is one of the classic toons that have to pay life points to attack, but you're not gonna be attacking with this card. Mostly this is just a wall. Because of Toon Kingdom, your opponent can't actually destroy it by battle, and they can't target them for card effects because of your field spell, or your just Toon World regular. But you can special summon this out in defense position, and it kind of becomes a pretty solid wall if your opponent just doesn't have any kind of non-targeting removal. Very good. You can just special summon it for free if you control Toon World. Next, we have 3 copies of Toon Harpy Lady. If you control you can special summon this card if you control Toon World. And if you control another Toon monster, you can destroy one spell or trap your opponent controls. Again, this is just to fill out the rest of the deck. It can be really, really handy in very niche circumstances in which you really do need to pop one of your opponent's back rows. So, all around, really great. You can also special summon it. It's great just to get some bodies on the board. And we do run a fair amount of Xyz monsters that can make use of level 4s. Next, we have 3 copies of Black Stone of Legend. This is your main combo piece in that you normal summon it, then tribute it, special summon 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck, which does actually include Red Eyes Toon Dragon. You might be saying, why are you running 3 of these if you're only running 2 Red Eyes Toon Dragon? Well, I'll tell you why. Because of its second effect, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, add this card to your hand. This does have incredible recycling power, just in case your Toon Dragon does end up in the excuse me, it does end up in the graveyard somehow. So we are running 3 copies of it, just because we want to turbo it out as soon as possible. Next, we're running 1 copy of 1-for-1 to get your Black Stone of Legend out on the field, because Red Eyes Toon Dragon can special summon a Toon monster directly from your hand. So really, really great to get that onto the field with 1-for-1. Next, we're running 1 Terraform. I feel like we're making deck profiles of a lot of decks that require a field spell, but yes, we are running the 1 copy of Terraforming because your Toon Kingdom is so important to the deck that you have to get it as soon as possible. If you don't have Toon Kingdom, it's not the end of the world, but you kind of want Toon Kingdom out on the field, I'll just say. To round out our one-ofs, we have 1 copy of Mimikat. If you control Toon World and a Toon monster, target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard. If it is a monster, special summon it to your field, or if it is a spell or trap, set it to your field. If your opponent tries to Raigeki you, and you have this in your hand, and you protect them with Toon Kingdom, Mimikat, get their Raigeki, activate their Raigeki. It's so funny to pull that off. It's so niche. That's why we're only running 1 copy. But you can pull off some incredibly wacky things with this card. It is so funny. I have pulled it off in Master Duel. Unfortunately, I am an idiot and didn't save it, so I sound like I'm lying right now. But you just gotta trust me, bro. Next, we have 3 copies of Toon Table of Contents. If you're not running this in a Toon deck, what are you doing? Add 1 Toon card from your deck to your hand. You can even add it. You can even add another Toon Table of Contents with this card, just to thin out your deck a little bit. But you can also add your Toon Bookmark, which is another search. You can add your Toon Page Flip. You can add your Toon Briefcase, Toon Terror, any of your monsters except for Black Stone of Legend. is such a great card. The best cards always have the least amount of text, in my opinion. Next, we're running 3 copies of Toon Bookmark. You can add a Toon World or one card that specifically lists Toon World in its text from your deck to your hand, except for Toon Bookmark. If a Toon World or Worlds you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only activate 1 per turn. This is really what you're going to want to search your Toon Kingdom with, because not only does it search for Toon Kingdom, it also protects it from being destroyed. Because as soon as you get your Toon Kingdom or Toon World out on the field, your opponent's going to want to destroy it as soon as possible. So having Toon Bookmark in the graveyard is actually very beneficial. You could even, as a good tech option, you could even have Foolish Burial Goods in your deck to just send Toon Bookmark from your deck to the graveyard, just to really, really go ham on protecting your field spell, because this deck is all about defending your castle, man. Next, we have 3 copies of Toon Page Flip. If you control Toon World, reveal 3 Toon monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to special summon, ignoring its summoning conditions, and also shuffle the rest into your deck. You can only activate 1 per turn. Like I said earlier, guys, you're going to want to be revealing your Toon Dragon, your Dark Magician, or your Blackluster Soldier, because cheating any of these out onto the field is an enormous amount of advantage. With Blackluster Soldier, you get the banish. With Dark Magician, you get the search or another special summon. With Toon Dragon, you get a special summon from the hand. So having Toon Page Flip in the deck is really, really good as a boost for consistency. Next, we're running 1 copy of Toon World. Why? Well, if you don't draw into Toon Kingdom, or all of them get destroyed, at least you have this as a backup, right? You can even play Toon World and Toon Kingdom at the same time. I wouldn't advise that, but you could. Because Toon Bookmark does protect both of them at the same time. So just having 1 copy in your deck, just as a plan B, not even plan B, this is like a plan Z, dude. Plankton is planning this, you know? So this is just really, really, if you're getting desperate and you really need Toon World, we've got the OG Toon World. Next, we have 2 copies of Comic Hand. If you control Toon World, equip this to an opponent's monster, take control of it, and it is treated as a Toon monster. If your opponent controls no Toon monsters, it can attack your opponent directly. And if Toon World is not on the field, destroy this card. So, Comic Hand doesn't target. It just says equip it. I think it target. I don't know. It's just Yu-Gi-Oh! Wording shenanigans, right? I don't know if it targets or not. Every time I've used it, it's gone off, so maybe it doesn't. But Comic Hand, if your opponent has a big scary boss monster and you can't destroy it, you can't banish it, Comic Hand it, right? That's pretty funny, to just gank an opponent's monster, turn it into a Toon, and then swing into their nuts with it, man. Next, we have 3 copies of Toon Kingdom. This is the field spell to end all field spells, right? This is what you just want to go balls to the wall on defending this, man. When this card is activated, banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down. This card's name becomes Toon World while in the field zone. Your opponent cannot target Toon monsters you control with card effects. If a Toon monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down for each of those monsters instead. If your opponent tries to Raigeki, bam, Toon Kingdom. If your opponent tries to get a big scary boss monster and get a board wipe, bam, Toon Kingdom. Banish all of your cards. I thought I had this idea where just shoving 1 copy of Grand Maju might be kind of funny, because you will be banishing a lot of your cards. Hopefully you don't hit 3 of the same card. But yeah, this is just you really want to protect your field spell, because it does offer your monsters great protection. They can't be targeted. They can't be destroyed as long as you have a card to banish. This is really, really what the archetype needed to boost its power level. Next, for the traps, we have 2 copies of Toon Briefcase. When your opponent summons a monster or monsters while you control a Toon, shuffle that monster into the deck. Free spin. It doesn't target. It doesn't destroy, doesn't banish, just shoves it right back into the deck, and a lot of cards are not immune to being shoved back into the deck. So, great card. I wish I could run 3, but got to keep it at 40, you know. And finally, 2 copies of Toon Terror. When a spell or trap card or a monster is activated, while you control both Toon World and a Toon monster, negate the activation. And if you do destroy that card, it's an Omni negate. What can I say? I wish I could run 50 of this card, right? But, you know, we're only running 2, again, just because we have to keep the deck rounded out. Honestly, I could take out Ancient Gear Golem and Cyber Dragon to add more copies of this, but this is the deck list that has given me the most amount of consistency and the most amount of wins. This deck list is getting a lot longer than I wanted it to be. We're not showing any replays because I already have the montage. I'll leave a link for it down in the description if you guys want to watch it. But we're just going to go ahead and speed through the extra deck here. 1 copy of Zeus, 1 copy of Draglubion to cheat out your Numeron Dragon, 1 copy of Hope Harbinger, 1 copy of Big Eye to, again, gank your opponent's monsters, 1 copy of Bahamut Shark. We do run level 4 water-type monsters. 1 copy of Tornado Dragon to destroy a problem spell or trap card. Shout out to Despias. 1 copy of Baguska. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. 1 copy of Totally Awesome. 1 copy of number 100 Numeron Dragon. 1 copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. 1 copy of Aegeon, the Sea Castrum. 1 copy of Dingirsu, the Orcus of the Evening Star. 1 copy of Utopia, and 1 copy of Utopia the Lightning. This deck does offer a wide variety of extra deck plays, with Ancient Gear Golem and Blackluster Soldier being level 8, Dark Magician and Red Eyes Toon Dragon being level 7, a vast swath of level 4 monsters to go into any of your generic and even we have that Totally Awesome play, so you can get this little scumbag out on the field. I'm just kidding, I love Totally Awesome, but yeah, so that's the deck list. Sorry that this video was so long, but I love the Toons. I've always loved the Toon archetype, and I'm just so glad that they're at the power level that they are. I know they're not actually, like, super tier 1 competitive, but they have a special place in my heart, and I hope they have a special place in yours too. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck list, and I will see you next time.